Peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now, y'all need to go to the red box and rent Sausage Party. I'm serious. Y'all go rent Sausage Party. Go check out that movie. I wanted to, as soon as I watched it, which in essence, most of the movies I gravitate towards these days have some type of esoteric or some type of, spiritual meaning behind it or some type of information or insight, just something into it. Just Sausage Party, just the movie at face value, thinking, all right, it's about to be a movie about nothing but dirty jokes and, because it's a movie about a sausage and a bun trying to meet up, you know what I'm saying, having sex, you know what I'm saying, this and that. But it basically comes off just from previewing from outside looking in, you thinking like, oh, it's about to be like about sex and it's about to have nothing but little corny jokes about sex and always just, but something just told me, Corey, check it out. Especially when they said, when I looked at the red box description, it said something about them coming together and then going to the great beyond. So I'm like, that sounds like a personification of real life. Maybe they're gonna try to do that comparison. So, I checked it out, and that's basically, what the movie was about. Matter of fact, I have to give kudos to Seth Rogen and the other creator, which Seth Rogen is just the only popular person that that we that most people know and that I know. You know what I'm saying, with dealing with the movie, but kudos to Seth Rogen with doing that movie because the way he set it up to basically pull people in because, everybody's sex, oh man, sex and comedy, you know what I'm saying? So either people was looking for a good laugh or, that dirty mind like, oh yeah, I gotta check that out, Sausage Party, you know what I'm saying? But it pulled you in, but it had like a higher spiritual insight to it, you know what I'm saying? Like even to the point where I was like really indulged in it because more so for the comparison that it had to like to like basically like to humans, you know what I'm saying? In essence of like going to the great beyond, like dying, like the afterlife. But basically, the gods were humans, considered to all the fruits and the food in the grocery store. The story was that the humans were the gods that would come and choose you, you know what I'm saying? And you would come, and in some cases, like say for instance, like if you're a hot dog, you would come together with your bun woman, you know what I'm saying? Y'all would come together and live happily ever after in the afterlife, in the great beyond, That was the story that that all the perishable goods, all the goods was basically going to the great beyond, to the afterlife. But what happened was you know, they had this store. Matter of fact, every time the grocery store opened, they all happy, like, yo, we going to the great beyond. Like, we going to, basically that comparison, like, people blind faith in, like, oh, I'm going to heaven. Oh, there's a heaven and a hell. Oh, yep, I believe my past. I believe my priest no matter what. I ain't going, because that's another thing they were showing you, the comparison to blind faith, like, well, none of the foods or whatever, you know what I'm saying, really knew the real story behind it. It's just been passed down like, hey, the great beyond, you gotta be happy for this, you know what I'm saying? And which just like in real life, you had some fruits like, really questioning, like, like what is really about? Do we really, live happily happily ever after in the great beyond, And two, it had like the comparisons too of like real, ethnicities and religions where I forgot was one item was like something like a pita. I, I I can't think of the real name of it, but he was like a in essence like a Muslim person. He was like when he go to Great Beyond, they get so many bottles of virgin olive oil. Like how the Muslims get promised the I ain't gonna quote unquote, but how in that religion, the Muslims get promised the so many virgins, or what I'm saying, they get the virgins in the afterlife, you know what I'm saying? Well, he had the virgin olive oil waiting for him in the afterlife, So it had the many comparisons to real life. But basically, you had within the midst of the story, some mustard, you know what I'm saying, going end up going to the great beyond out the store and find out that, you know, the gods or the humans was really gonna eat their ass, you know what I'm saying? And he found that out and he was, you know, he made it back in the store somehow and was about to tell everybody like, man, y'all tripping, man. What y'all happy for, man? They about to kill us. And then, you know what's funny? That conspiracy theorist, you know what I'm saying? Because that basically, the mustard was a personification of somebody who knew the truth, just found out for the first time, trying to tell everybody, but they being seen as crazy. Hint, hint, wink, wink, like a lot of other, you know, comparisons in this world, you know, conscious people that be trying to open up the sheeple to the truth, but the truth, you know, just like, you know, just like a lobster in the tank, like, oh man, we not getting eaten. Like, oh man, nah man, where you get that story from? But that the government not trying to kill us, you know, oh no, you know, this and that. But anyway, the mustard, you know, was like, man, they trying to kill us, this and that. And then they had a Chief Firewater, which was a indigenous, you know, food in the store, you know what I'm saying? Basically a food or race of food that been in the store, you know, for the longest or whatever. That was like, you know, that told that mustard like, shit, you better stop saying that or we gonna off you, you know what I'm saying? This some secret stuff. Almost like the indigenous Illuminati, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey look, this you don't speak on this information, but you know, long story short, you know, the mustard end up, you know, speaking enough on it to make, you know, raise the eyebrow of, you know, some of the foods and the wiener, you know what I'm saying, which is Seth Rogen character, you know, it raises his eyebrow to find more of the truth, you know what I'm saying, and just personification of the whole thing, you know, like hear a little bit of the conspiracy theories and like, man, well, you know what, it don't hurt to, you know, to really find out if this true since all the other stuff is based on blind faith. Why not, you know? So, you know, the wiener went looking into it, you know what I'm saying? He came across Chief Firewater looking for him, and instead of killing him, they sat him down, smoked some weed with him, which was tight, you know, smoking some herb, and was like, you know, and told him the story, like how they created that Great Beyond story to just stop all the foods and all that from being scared, you know what I'm saying? Because it was just 24 hours of just fruits being scared and shit. So he was like, man, we had to create some type of story to just change that. And we just changed the story, and only a chosen few knew what was really going on, you know what I'm saying? That was the basic, you know, insight of the situation. And then also, in which I'm just going through this to just make the little different comparisons, you know. And matter of fact, oh, spoiler alert if I didn't warn at the beginning of this video already, you know, if you haven't watched it already, maybe you don't want to watch this video, even though I'm late. But also they had the comparison to like a DMT trip and doing psychedelics, which they used a comparison which you shouldn't use, you know what I'm saying, which to each his own. But I know, you know, from what I know, bad salts is not the business. But they had, you know, one of the humans on the movie took some bad salts or whatever, and as the bad salts started kicking in, he actually, instead of seeing the food in the regular way, like, you know, what, you know, in the personification of how we see food, you know, now, you start seeing the food like in the movie, like really living, you know what I'm saying? And they basically like was saying, even the food was saying like, oh, he could see the fourth dimension, so now he could see and hear us, you know what I'm saying? And so now the man could actually see and hear basically the essence of the spirit of the food, you know? And now it's like, you know, kind of tight the way they, you know, made that comparison of like a DMT trip or a psychedelic trip where, you know, a mushroom trip where after eating the bad sauce, he was able to see the spirit of the food, you know what I'm saying? And which later on, which when a high, you know, the high started coming down, then his perception went back to the, you know, the 3D perception or whatever perception, you know, and a personification of the movie, but it went back to his normal perception, you know, and then the hot dog stopped talking, he went to eat the hot dog and all that. But to the next level, they end up using that same, like the hot dogs or whatever, end up killing the man or whatever, and end up taking the bad salts And in an old school indigenous little arrow shooting type of thing, they took the bath salts and put it at the end of a toothpick and shot the humans with it and made the humans, you know what I'm saying, be able to perceive, them as living. And so now the humans tripped out like 'cause they seeing all the, all these things living. Matter of fact, I forgot about the douchebag, but that's a whole nother story too. The douchebag, basically, you can see him as a person that's soaking up people energy, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like what his name implied. He was a douchebag who didn't get to achieve his destiny, which is, with a douchebag, I guess what would be perceived as his destiny, was trying to be used by a female. But anyway, with the bad salts are, awaken everybody's perception. So now, they were being scared by the fruits and stuff because now the fruits is walking and talking. And to the next level, after that's all said and done, they kill off the humans or whatever. Then that's when you could say the real, how could I say, the most, not say stupid, but where it's like, all right, now the sex that you would thought would have been in the whole movie came to place where then at the end, all the fruit, every item, all the items start having a sex orgy, which was kind of somewhat of a comparison of like, people coming together, but then also too, if you want to be super conscious, and be like, oh, but they was, because they did have which that's a personification of the realness, they do have homosexuality, so I'm gonna go super conscious, be like, and you see they was trying to implement the homosexual, what I'm saying, agenda, what I'm saying, I ain't gonna go there all, because it wasn't like all the items was really, mingling with each other, but it did have that aspect in there. You know what I'm saying? But I just leave it at that. They were just trying to show, just the comparisons of the different vibrations of people, personification of different vibrations of people, but amongst, the foods in the store and the movie. And then at the end, they end up finding out that like, oh, like, all right, what's really even deeper besides the great beyond is that we're really cartoon characters drawn by some figures from the from the higher fourth dimension or whatever, named Seth Rogen, this and that, where they got even deeper into finding out that that is even bigger than the great beyond and the gods or the human gods in their dimension. It was even greater than that. So it was just a cool movie as far as like how it had real spiritual comparisons, real little life lessons in it. In essence, real just a real genuine way to open people up to spirituality and to just open mindedness of what could be dealing with the approach to the afterlife and with what religion may be right or what spiritual truths may be right. That movie basically just played on that concept. And it was just real cool the way, it used, sausage party, sex, and pull everybody in, played y'all, like, oh yeah, it kind of played me too, but which I was more looking into it at first for a good little laugh. And then it really though sold me on the fact, because what really didn't sell me was that I thought it was going to be like a corny sex movie. I'm like, my attention span, I'm a little too conscious, to just like that just dry, stupid humor I just can't do, you know what I'm saying? Like it gotta really make sense. So I was like, it really pulled me in though off of the essence of, with the afterlife for the great beyond. I'm like, I think they're gonna go where I think they're gonna go with the spirituality. So that's why I kinda end up watching it, which end up turning out right, follow my intuition. But that's all I wanted to do, just speak on that movie. Y'all should go check it out. And back to, with, you watch all my videos. Matter of fact, I'm going to make a video list with all my quote unquote movie critic movies where I'm just basically like, just talking about movies or how they may have esoteric information in them or just movies, that may be just good to watch in essence. But just any movies that I brought up on my YouTube channel. Because this one right here definitely was, was one that came out of left field where I was like, all right, it had a good message in it. Y'all should go check it out. But peace. Oh, I did the happy now for the peace. Peace. Happy now. Now. Oh, oh. Matter of fact, that's what I was gonna say. I had to come back and get that thought that how all these movies are starting to have this the more of the esoteric information nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Where like, down to a cartoon now it's like well anything. It's supposed to be a comedy about sex and it even had a deeper meaning of spirituality and just open mindedness of, of the approach to God, of spirituality, afterlife, and just us getting along, as humanity or as beings that's one with source. Like I say, Doctor Strange, just all these movies, X-Men Apocalypse, all these movies that have this esoteric or spiritual connotations. I gotta go check out Alice in Wonderland too, the newer one that just came out. But all these movies have it's starting to the veil is lifting, and I mean at this point if I still seem like somebody that's just crazy and ranting to you or something, or somebody that's just, which I know my regular viewers not looking at, but my casual viewers, my viewers where, you might watch one of my videos because somebody told you, like, I kind of mess with what he talking about, but I don't know. But I mean, to those viewers that watch my videos, man, if you still thinking that, I don't know, I don't think, then I don't know, you might not make it. You might not ascend. You might not never get it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see the synchronicity and the truth in the way these things is coming out in the movies and just everything, politics, everything is just the veil is lifting. If you can't see it, you know, that has to do with prophecy. If you can't see it, then it ain't meant for you to see it. And unfortunately, you won't progress along with the people who see it. But again, before I slaughtered my outro, peace. Heaven now. Now's the vibrate. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now.